The movie kicks off with a jaw-dropping revelation. On June 3rd, a mysterious virus, VM2, hits the scene. Fast forward to June 9th, and a staggering 83% of Europe is already grappling with the infection. But it doesn't stop there. The virus jumps continents, wreaking havoc in Japan and causing the government to crumble within a mere 3 days. Then, just when you think it can't get any crazier, the virus lands on US soil. Cue the military, swooping in to contain the chaos by destroying transport arteries to isolate the infected. But wait, there's more. By June 27th, all heck breaks loose as electromagnetic pulses, EMPs, detonate, disabling all the electronics. 6 months later, we find ourselves amidst a trio of friends, Billy, Kevin, and Ramona. Despite Billy and Ramona's reluctance, Kevin is adamant about scavenging for food amidst the city's ruins. Their journey leads them to a shop, where Kevin and Billy venture in, while Ramona keeps watch for any lurking zombies outside. Despite their efforts, the shelves are bare, leaving them to eye a vending machine hopefully. However, their attempts to access it only serve to draw unwanted attention, sending Ramona into a panic as she watches from the entrance. Suddenly, the undead emerge, catching the trio off guard. In the chaos, Kevin becomes overwhelmed, losing his footing to the advancing zombies. With no other option, Billy directs Ramona to flee to safety while he takes on the approaching horde. As the odds stack against him, salvation arrives in the form of a group of survivors armed to the teeth. With swords and guns, they dispatch the zombies, rescuing Billy and Ramona from certain demise. Among the survivors, Ramona finds Kevin, his breaths growing faint, and offers him words of encouragement. Kevin's dire state prompts action, and a survivor named Henry commands Ramona to stand back as Cassie prepares to end Kevin's suffering. Afterward, Mac, the leader of the survivors, insists on a thorough check for bites, ensuring Billy and Ramona remain uninfected. Once cleared, Mac introduces them to the team: Henry, Cassie, and Julian. As preparations for departure begin, Ramona hesitates to leave her friend behind. Despite Cassie's attempts to rationalize Kevin's fate, Ramona places blame squarely on her shoulders. Billy, however, persuades Ramona to stay with the group, emphasizing the grim alternative. Together, they make their way towards Kevin's cabin, stumbling upon a telltale sign of another group's passing: a zombie felled by an arrow. Upon investigation, Billy and Ramona learn they are en route to Catalina, an island rumored to be a sanctuary for survivors. Suddenly, a dog grabs Julian's attention, but Max swiftly nixes the idea of adopting it, fearing its barking could attract deadly attention from nearby zombies. As they finally arrive in town, Cassie calls for a break, enlisting Ramona as her P-buddy for the moment. In a quiet spot, Cassie extends a heartfelt apology to Ramona for the loss of her friend, a gesture Ramona accepts, realizing her earlier mistake of blaming Cassie. With Mac's warning of impending danger ringing in their ears, they proceed cautiously, with Mac ordering the crew to follow his lead. While some search for socks, Mac instructs Billy and Ramona to quietly gather equipment. Cassie then alerts Billy and Ramona to the presence of runners, newer, faster zombies, heightening the urgency of their task. Spotting a sports shop, they cautiously approach, scouting the area before attempting entry. Once inside, amidst the flurry of activity as everyone searches for gear, Ramona attempts to venture to the shop's rear, but Mac intercepts her, insisting on accompanying her. On their journey, Julian recounts the grim tale of Kirkman, a fallen comrade, who met his end facing down over 50 zombies behind a door. Meanwhile, chaos erupts as zombies attack their companions. Henry and Cassie bravely hold their ground, allowing the group to escape. Amidst the panic, Ramona mourns her lost friend, lamenting the futility of their journey to Catalina. However, Cassie rebukes her sharply, citing her husband's account of the refuge on the island. Night falls, and Cassie stands guard outside the cabin when a dog sneaks in. Inside, Mac marks a high school as their next destination, believed to be a stronghold for survivors. When questioned by Billy and Ramona, he explains their alternative plan towards Dakota, dismissing Catalina's existence. Their discussion is interrupted by Henry, who announces a family dinner with enough food to share. After the meal, Ramona probes Cassie about her background, learning of her husband, Sergeant Stewart, who volunteered when the government faced manpower shortages amid the crisis. She was supposed to join him, but the last flight to Catalina got cancelled. So she ended up with her brother, Jake, who got caught by zombies. Before Ramona could ask for more details, Henry changes the subject, and the group shares how they found each other. Mac gets on guard when Ramona asks about Jake. He sadly tells her that Jake got taken by a zombie pack, though Cassie kept seeing him when he wandered away still alive. Ramona feels down hearing that Jake turned into a zombie. She asks Mac about his wife and learns he lost her to cancer, and now he lives to cherish her memory. Just as things start feeling gloomy, a dog appears. Mac tries to scare it off, but it attacks him. Ramona calls for help, and Cassie swiftly takes down the dog with her sword. The next day, they're walking and spot a sniper hideout. Upon checking, they find a sniper-turned-zombie pinned to a wall with an arrow in his head. They finally reach a human safe zone, a high school believed to be a survivor stronghold. But when they enter, it's deserted, giving off a creepy vibe. Mac's friends want to bail, but he's determined to press on. As they hit the basketball court, a zombie pack ambushes them. While Mac and the gang fight off the zombies, Ramona spots Billy struggling and calls for help. She tries to take down a zombie herself but gets chased into a bathroom by a racer. She manages to fend it off. Meanwhile, Mac's crew seizes an opportunity to break free, but Billy gets overwhelmed, screaming for help in vain. As Mac and his pals catch up to Ramona, she's devastated by Billy's death. Julian and Cassie argue over whether the zombies were waiting for them, which only adds to Ramona's anger. They decide to rest outside the city, but Cassie hits rock bottom and wants to quit. Henry steps up, giving her a pep talk, while Julian lightens the mood with talk about their plans for Catalina. But when Ramona speaks up, she admits she's scared of ending up like Billy and Kevin. As they enter the next town and spot a burning house, Julian rushes to help, thinking people might be trapped inside. But surprised, zombies strike again. Mac's team fights hard, with Henry rushing to help Cassie as she's swarmed by zombies. Just when things look dire, two archers, Brockton and Sarah, swoop in to save Mac. They urge them to leave, but Mac tries to go back for Cassie and Henry, without success. Meanwhile, Henry and Cassie face a giant zombie. Henry's hammer doesn't faze him, so he improvises a plan. As Cassie distracts the zombie, Henry butchers him with a saw, eventually taking the zombie down. Left alone, they decide to press forward. Brockton and Sarah lead them to their safe spot, revealing they're a group of three, sharing the same struggles as they do. Suddenly, Mira, the third one, joins them. Brockton offers to help Mac's crew, but Mac insists they search for Henry and Cassie first. At night, Brockton lays out their plan to reach Catalina, explaining the challenges they'll face along the way. Brockton suggests Mac wait for rescue teams, but Mac's determined to save his friends first. Sarah warns them of past mistakes costing lives, stating they started as a group of 20, but Mac stands his ground. Later, Julian charms Mira with poetry while on watch, leading to laughter. Then, he spots a satellite about to crash, adding to the tension. Henry and Cassie also witness the same sight. The next morning, Mac and Brockton head out with their teams, low on ammo. Henry assures Cassie of their friend's safety, sticking to the plan to reach Catalina, following the same route. Cassie, hopeful to find her husband there, expresses her desire to stay sane with Henry, emphasizing their bond. Henry agrees, content if reunion with her husband makes her happy. As they clear their path, Julian rushes to a washroom, only to face more zombies. Mac and the rest bravely, while Julian is saved by Brockton and Sarah. After Julian is safe, another pack follows them. Seeking refuge, they find temporary safety in a van, but Julian's discovery of a bite marks a grim turn of events. Meanwhile, Cassie and Henry stumble upon a machine gun, with Cassie insisting on keeping it despite Henry's reservations. Inside the van, Julian, realizing his fate, passes his diary to Mac, requesting him to continue its legacy. The somber realization that Julian has been bitten weighs heavily on the group, culminating in the heartbreaking moment when Mac is forced to end his friend's suffering with his own hands. Cassie and Henry press on with their journey, armed with the machine gun, only to be trailed by a persistent zombie. When Henry attempts to fend her off, the determined undead gathers her pack, prompting the duo to flee. In a desperate move, Cassie uses a grenade to shake off their pursuers, inadvertently drawing the attention of nearby zombies. With danger closing in from all sides, they find temporary refuge on a rooftop. Just as hope begins to wane, Henry spots their friends in the distance, calling out for them to join. Stranded with no clear path to reach them, Cassie rallies with a plan. Utilizing the machine gun, they fight off the encroaching horde, clearing a path to reunite with their comrades. Seeking shelter, they retreat to the docks, relieved to find no immediate threat. However, their relief is short-lived as they confront the harsh reality of Julian's demise, a somber moment overshadowing their triumph. Undeterred, they press forward, discovering crucial information about the ferry's schedule and supplies for the journey to the island. Meanwhile, Sarah stumbles upon a grisly scene of human carnage, sending shockwaves through the group. Their horror escalates when they encounter a zombie tiger, responsible for the brutal killings. Despite their efforts to fend it off with arrows, the undead beast fixates on Sarah as its prey. In a tense standoff, Mira intervenes, restraining the tiger just as it lunges for Sarah. Amidst the chaos, Henry delivers a decisive blow, sending the creature into the depths of the ocean, or so they think. As they let their guard down, tragedy strikes again as the tiger resurfaces, claiming another life in its relentless pursuit. In the heat of the moment, the zombie tiger turns its sights on Cassie, but Henry springs into action, diverting its attention. With a swift blow from his hammer, Henry momentarily believes victory is theirs, only to watch in dismay as the tiger rises once more. In a desperate bid to save Cassie, Henry intervenes again, but not before sustaining a grievous injury himself. As the tiger closes in on Cassie, Henry summons his last reserves of strength, dealing the fatal blow that finally ends the creature's reign of terror. With the threat vanquished, Cassie rushes to Henry's side, his breaths growing fainter by the moment. In his final plea, Henry implores Cassie to spare him from the fate of becoming one of the undead. As he slips into unconsciousness, Cassie fulfills his wish, ending his suffering with a heavy heart. As they await the ferry's return, Cassie confides in Mac her longing to reunite with her husband on Catalina, a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness of their ordeal. In the closing scene, the arrival of the ferry signals the end of their harrowing journey for survival.